So one other point on robustness is, this has been kind of a big issue in the news lately, so I wanted to touch base on it, is this whole, the problem of balancing accessibility and security. Last month there was a global security analyst summit, which is like a nice way of saying a bunch of hackers get together once a year. And they focus on cybersecurity issues. And usually it's things like bank records and PlayStation accounts and getting user information. This year, one of their focuses was on getting into buildings, because there's a realization in that community that you can do a lot of damage, or you can get a lot of visibility by getting into building systems and messing with buildings. So I'm not going to name any names. Could have been any of us, but they found a way to get into this particular control software platform. In about 25 seconds, they demonstrated how they could get into this system, get access to start turning on and off lights, shutting down boilers, changing conditions in the building. And it was pretty scary, right, for all of us in the industry, I think. Because I think we've been, most of us at least, have been in the situation where we had sort of safety by anonymity or by no one really caring, right, about getting in. And now that there's new visibility coming in that buildings are targets or could be targets. So this is something we have to be aware of going forward. And some of the comments that came from at the bottom of this article was, the fact is most of the people putting in these systems have absolutely no clue about industrial security. So these are the system integrators, right, the people that are installing your systems in your buildings. They're not IT security experts, right? So you try to explain to people the need for these extra levels of security, and usually the response is something like, yeah, but then that makes it harder for me to get in and service this thing remotely, or this makes it harder for me to access the information I want to get when I need it. And that's a tough balance, right? That's not an easy thing. So I want to make everybody aware, I guess, that threat is out there and growing. Somewhat, in some of your facilities, you've probably been dealing with that for a long time. Others of us haven't. But that is a growing threat. So, so obviously, why is this important? I mean, you need access to your systems, but buildings are increasingly visible targets, and there's a growing awareness among the hacking community that buildings make good targets, or are reasonable targets. So this is less of a requirement for your systems and more of requirements for you, I would say, is to assess your risks. Know what, different facilities have different levels of risk or things that could go wrong, or your attractiveness as a target, right? So consider that. And the one thing I would say is, this is a case where, the session before this was, I don't know how many of you were at the last session that was in this room? Some of you talking about IT and FM, can we talk, right? This is a case where I think you need to talk. Work with your IT people, because they're the experts on IT security. They're the ones who are getting paid to be aware of these kind of threats and what's evolving and what's happening out there. They're the ones that can help you maintain that security and accessibility. So as much as we all oftentimes look at them as an impediment and a problem, I mean, they're really looking out for the safety, security, and accessibility of our system. So this is one place where I think it's not worth going it alone. This isn't our core competency, this kind of cyber terrorism or the cyber hacking kind of thing that's happening. There's new threats every day. So this is a case where, be aware if you're putting your systems out there and exposing them directly to the internet without levels of security in place that you understand and know what the threats are, that you're putting yourself at risk.